This is the Gospel Briefing. I'm Charles King. Today, a search called off in San Francisco Bay, a president prepares to relitigate an election from 6 years ago, and a thoughtful question from Christianity Today: why do our oldest leaders refuse to let go? Headlines, heartbeat, hope. Let's get into it. The Coast Guard has suspended its search. 3 people are still missing in San Francisco Bay. Their families are going home without them. Here's what we know. On Tuesday evening, a 50-foot cabin cruiser called the Volare was hit by a wave near Alcatraz Island. About 20 people were aboard. Most of them were family. They were holding a memorial service for one woman's sister. Let that sit for a moment. A memorial, on the water, and then the water took more. One man, 79-year-old Clifford Joseph Boysa, was pulled to shore and pronounced dead. A dog was killed. 3 people were hospitalized and later released, and 3 people are simply gone. The Coast Guard commander in San Francisco, Gerard Totsko, told reporters the decision to suspend the search was not easy. His team swept 950 square nautical miles, 54 combined hours. He said they had, quote, completely saturated the search area. One rescuer described passengers banging on the windows of the sinking boat, trying to get out. Elderly people bobbing in the water, too tired to swim. There is a temptation, when a story is this heavy, to rush to a verse and tie it up. I'm not going to do that. I'll just say this. James chapter 4 reminds us that our lives are a mist, here for a little time then vanishing. That is not a threat. It's an invitation to hold our people close, to tell them the truth about Jesus while we can, to be ready. A family boarded a boat to remember someone they love, and now more names are on that list. Pray for them tonight. Tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, President Trump is expected to deliver a primetime address on the 2020 election. Sources tell ABC News the president will detail information he's recently received from the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. The topic, at least as of this recording, is election fraud. Now, some context. The president has long claimed his 2020 loss was fraudulent. Federal officials, including officials from his own first administration, found no evidence of widespread voter fraud that would have changed the outcome. He has recently installed a loyalist, Bill Pulte, to lead the DNI, a man with no prior national security experience, and has asked him to declassify information and dismiss career staff. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says, quote, "Nobody knows yet what President Trump will ultimately say. Here is where I want to be careful. Christians disagree about this president and about that election, passionately. And this show is not going to tell you what to think about tonight's speech before he gives it. What I will say is this. Proverbs 18:17 says the one who states his case first seems right until the other comes and examines him. That's a verse for primetime addresses. That's a verse for social media threads. That's a verse for whatever you hear tonight and whatever the response is tomorrow. Test what you hear from every side. Slow down. Christians are supposed to be the people who love truth more than they love their team. That's harder than it sounds. But it's the assignment." The U.S. and Iran are exchanging strikes again. U.S. Central Command announced Wednesday night that American forces completed another wave of strikes on Iranian command centers, air defense sites, and missile capabilities, including targets around Bandar Abbas. Earlier Wednesday, U.S. forces hit coastal defense sites on Greater Toom Island. Iran fired back. Jordan's official news agency says Jordanian forces intercepted 8 Iranian missiles early Thursday morning. No casualties, no damage reported. One quieter piece of news. President Trump announced Wednesday that Iran released an American citizen, Dina Karari, who her lawyer says had been trapped in Iran on what he called bogus charges of espionage. She's now safely out of the country. Small mercy in a very dark week. Isaiah 2 pictures a day when the nations beat their swords into plowshares and study war no more. That day has not come yet. It comes when Christ comes. Until then, we get missiles intercepted over Jordan and one woman coming home. Both are worth noticing. Both are worth praying about. 3 quick briefs. Christianity Today, adapting a piece from Russell Moore, is asking a question I can't stop thinking about. Why do our elderly leaders refuse to give up power? He points to Senator Mitch McConnell's hospital bed proof-of-life photo as the image of the era. Moore's argument is spiritual. Clinging to power is not strength, it's fear of what comes next. Psalm 90 teaches us to number our days that we may gain a heart of wisdom. A leader who cannot let go has forgotten how to count. Second, the U.S. is imposing 25% tariffs on imports from Brazil, citing what the administration calls unfair trade practices. Brazil is the 10th largest economy in the world. This will move prices on coffee, beef, and steel. Proverbs 11 speaks of honest scales delighting the Lord. Trade policy is a moral matter. Christians can disagree about tariffs. We should not disagree about honesty in commerce. Third, heavy wildfire smoke from Canada and Minnesota is blanketing much of the Midwest and Northeast this week. If you have elderly neighbors, kids with asthma, or friends who work outside, check on them today. Genesis 2 says we were placed in the garden to work it and keep it. Sometimes keeping it just means knocking on a door. And one more. In Oklahoma, two brothers who trim trees for a living, Isaac and Andrew Reyes, fell 45 feet when their cable snapped. Both are in the hospital with serious injuries. Both are alive. Pray for their recovery. You're reading Romans 9. Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. What does that even mean? Most apps just say pray about it. Open Bible Copilot and it walks you through it the way seminaries teach. The original Hebrew, the historical context, the theology, and how to apply it in seconds. Trusted AI for Bible study, not generic AI with insight from voices like Augustine, Spurgeon, and N.T. Wright. 5 stars in the App Store. Get your first month of Pro free at mybiblecopilot.com/gospel. That's mybiblecopilot.com/gospel. Bible Copilot. Today's verse is Psalm 90 verse 12. Teach us to number our days that we may get a heart of wisdom. A boat sank on the way home from a memorial. Leaders grow old and refuse to let go. Missiles cross a sky above Jordan. And Moses, 3,000 years ago, prayed a prayer we still need. Teach us to count. Teach us that our time is short. Teach us to spend it on what matters. Thanks for listening to the Gospel Briefing. If today's episode helped you, send it to one person who's been feeling worn out by the news. Tell them the headlines are not the last word, because they aren't. Christ is, and he is coming back. I'll see you tomorrow.